Because I was so excited about winning the EP3, I just had to share it. It piqued my buddy's interest, and he went looking into other websites. A couple of days later, he sent me a link to a local auction site that had 2 manual all-wheel drive B-Series. This is the 97 to 2001 Honda CR-V. This particular auction site lists whether it has keys, whether it runs, what might be missing off of it, and what to bring. I got into an auction war between some other guys. I ended up losing out on one, but I was able to win the other, which happened to be running. This one I spent about $900. That's about $100 from my threshold. I didn't really want to spend more than $1,000 on it because we still need to be able to turn a profit, and we don't know what's wrong with it. The reason we're talking about this is because this one is available to pick up today, whereas the EP3 won't be for a couple of days. Alright, made it in the yard. I even took a look at the car first. It turns out this place is next to a military base, or maybe even on one, but it's also a towing company, and I think this towing company is just rather large, and they just house all of their cars here that they tow in, and maybe these are cars here that are left by the owners, or maybe there's a lien on them or something like that. This car was supposed to run, but it's a good thing I came and checked it out first because it doesn't right now. And first thing I'm going to do is put my jump box on it. The handy Genius GB150. And at first glance, looks like all the tires are there and they're inflated. That's good. And it's not really a looker. Got a number of things here. Missing all kinds of stuff. We got the burn holes in the seat. It's that dark gray color, which looks really good if it's in good condition, but this one isn't there. It looks like they left us a lot of goodies. I wonder what kind of CDs we have here. Nice. Lots of, check out these guys. Interesting. Yeah. All right, let's look at what really matters here. We got the mileage there. That's okay. Hondas go forever. Let's look under the hood. Under the hood reveals what we're here after. We got the B20Z, looks like it's all there. We got our manual transmission, looks like it's all there. And it looks like it's all stock, so that could mean something really good for us, that this could be running well. It looks like it's got some newer spark plug wires on there and a new cap, so maybe they maintenanced it. Looks like there's some radiator maintenance done here at one time. And our battery's relatively fresh. Looks like they got it this year. So I think we could have a winner. Let's try to start this. It did start. That was exciting, but then it started making a lot of valve noise, and then that made me think, oh, shut it off right away. That's something that was a rookie mistake on my side. I probably should have checked at least to make sure that there was oil in the engine and maybe even some antifreeze, although we're just going to put it in the trailer, which is just behind the vehicle. All right, we have some oil. It lives. And we're going to check to see if it goes through all the gears. Oh, looks like it works. There are so many reasons why this car could be here, but that's information we're just not going to know. But what we do know is at least it runs. It's not the best looker, but we do know that we'll at least be able to turn some kind of profit by parting it out. That went relatively smooth, but I did leave it idling while I was strapping it into the trailer and ended up dying. But something I noticed as I was moving is the gauge cluster showed that it was pretty low on fuel. You can take a look at the gauge right there. It's showing pretty low. That would be another good reason why you bring your own fuel. Knowing that, we're now a little bit more prepared for our trip out to Kansas. When we made it back to the shop, as you can see right behind us, it's running. That's something that's good. That we ended up putting about a gallon of gas in there, and it seems to be idling okay. But what we really want to do is focus on the compression test, because that's what we need to do. We need to hurry up and just bang this job out. So I already decided that I'm not going to try to sell it. It's going to profit us best by just parting it out. Another thing that happened is the vehicle drove in the trailer fine, but I just couldn't get it out. It just wouldn't go into gear. And then we ended up pushing it out, and I parked outside. Then we brought it back inside, and doing that, all of a sudden the clutch worked. As soon as I got in here, let the vehicle warm up, I couldn't get into gear anymore. And that is probably 99% of the time when I end up finding these cars out in the yard. When I'm pulling the transmission off, the clutch is usually blown to pieces. There's all bits and all kinds of little bits that are falling out all over the place. You know, I wouldn't know exactly why they're in the junkyard, but that has always been my suspicion. This right here, the vehicle does run, and it doesn't seem to be crashed, although it's pretty nasty inside. If I had to guess, that's going to be the same thing that we're going to discover once we pull this engine out. Good morning. We've been on the road for a couple of hours now. We're somewhere in Texas on our way to Fort Riley. That's where we were able to purchase the EP3 from our government auction website. We haven't seen the car. This one appeared on the website that it didn't have wheels and all the things. So we made sure to grab all of those. I have 3 sets of wheels because if I only brought 2, then I would need 3. If I only brought 1, I would need 2. So I made sure to bring extra things. I brought fuel. I brought lots of tools. I brought a jack. No, I didn't. Holy smokes. I have no jack on my truck. I just realized that we used it on a car last night, and I tried to remind myself that I needed it. Wow. So even if I wanted to put these wheels on, it's going to be difficult. I might be able to use the jack out of the truck. Well, anyways, we got a couple of more hours before we get there. See you then.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
After a few hours, we made it to our destination. We made it to Junction City, Kansas or something like that. This is just right outside of the Fort Riley. Fort Riley is an Army base, I'm assuming, and getting up there could be rather difficult, so they actually offer to drop the vehicle off at a local Walmart, so that actually makes it a little bit easier. The area that the vehicles were at was an area that's designated for the soldiers to service their vehicles, and it was rough terrain. From the pictures, it looked like the EP3 was dug in the dirt, and it would be rather difficult, so fortunately it's right here on the tarmac, and it should be making swapping those wheels out a little bit easier. I was nervous about having to use the jack that's supplied with my truck. Digging in the ground into the trailer is going to be another feat in its own. It's looking pretty rough. This is the car. They dropped it off just like this. At least they did. They hooked me up with the jack because I didn't even have a jack stand. So at least I'll be able to get a wheel up on this side. I'll still need my jack to at least get it off of the jack stand. Over here, it looks like I might be able to fit that strut back in there. I got to see what's going on there. It's it's looking pretty rough there. But if you noticed just now, there's not a transmission in there. And as they're dropping it down, I was getting very disappointed in this, but that's just how it goes. You don't know what you're gonna get. You just have to blindly make a bid, and if you win, then that's what you get. Looks like I got some skunk 2 springs here in the back, and it looked like there's some kind of stainless steel exhaust. Not sure what kind it is yet. I do like this lip kit here. This could be valuable to somebody. Interior wise, the suede is okay. The driver's side is in better condition than most. One thing I had to look, since there wasn't a transmission in there, is was there at least an ECU? I dropped it down there. The factory ECU is still there, so it's not a total loss. The wiring harness down here doesn't look cut up, so it might be okay. But I was hopeful and hoping that maybe somewhere in here I would find the transmission, and I did. So it wasn't a complete total loss. If the transmission's out, it could be a number of reasons. Maybe a bad clutch, maybe a bad transmission, but that's no big deal because we can fix that, and that's still valuable, and that's why we came out here. We disassemble transmissions almost every time we get one, so that's something that we would have to do anyways. So all in all, we got what we came here for. Let's open the hood. I think the first thing that we're going to do is jack this side of the car up to see what's going on with this suspension. Truck jack here might just work out. The whole suspension just dropped. So it looks like the ball joint came out. Oh, okay. I see what they did here. So when they took the transmission out, they just pulled the axle out of the intermediate shaft, or just pulled the whole axle out. Maybe they didn't have this 32 or the 32 millimeter is seized in there. So it looks like I'm going to go ahead and take this axle out. There is a ball joint. Oh no, maybe that's what happened. Maybe the ball joint broke. That's exactly what happened. The lower ball joint on this is broken. Maybe that was because of them just trying to take it apart because the transmission is out. But then that's what's keeping this from going back on there. I'm curious how I'm going to fix that. I'd also forgot to mention that the hood latch isn't opening the hood at all, so I'm curious what motor's in there. I'm almost positive that when I saw the pictures, it just looked like it had the A3 intake manifold on it. I'm sure that's what's going to be in there. Pretty sure that the suspension's all tweaked out. This is definitely a learning experience. I was just thinking that I have an RSX back at the shop, but it doesn't have suspension on it either. Otherwise, I was just thinking in my mind, like the next time we come to a car like this, we can completely bring a whole new assembly here. But at least on the RSX that I have, it doesn't have the strut, but it has the 5-lug rotor and all that. I could have just unbolted that from my RSX and do a complete swap here, and then I would have a ball joint. I didn't have lug nuts either, and I thought of that after I had left, but I was thinking like, well, I could just take the lug nuts off of the other wheel so I can get this one on here. This right here is a wheel off a CRV that we have also in the backyard, and I made sure that it was the same lug pattern, and I can't wait till we get help so we can get this done a lot more fast and more frequently. But it is exciting. I don't think it's going to be as bad as it's proving to be. Maybe if I had a welder even, I could just weld the bottom of that ball joint, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It doesn't look like there's going to be any threads at all I can catch once it comes through the control arm, and I'm sure that's why it's sitting here. A jack would have been really nice. A real jack. That's something that you need. I'm glad I have my impact tools and the rest of the stuff, but this is something else. Right now I'm jacking it up by the subframe, which is definitely strong enough to hold what I'm doing. And what I'm trying to do is level out the suspension, which is why I put the tire in the back. I'm pretty sure that it being crooked like that was putting some extra strain on the sway bar, which was pushing that driver's side control arm higher and higher, making it more difficult for me to be able to get the strut on. But single jack, I run a risk of tipping it over, but I do have that jack stand that I can set up at least on the side that I'm working on. Man, I can't believe how super bright it is out here. It's just like that sun is just baking down. It's not hot, it's blindingly bright, which is, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, even with my sunglasses here, it's doing something weird where I can't really see well. I can't see without my sunglasses, I can't see with them. The pillow mount just popped off here. Oh, okay. The strut broke off too inside the shock tower. Right up in there you can see where it had broke off. So I really am going to need to get this hood up. Like I was saying, that the latch is broken, but they were able to get the pictures with it up. So what they did, I'm not sure. So we're just going to play with this a little bit until I figure something out. Well, that doesn't work. Alright, I got the hood open, but I had to unbolt the latch from the core support. And look, I'm just going to cut this off so I can get the hood open. And it is a K20A3, but all the K20A3 stuff is here. And it looks like my wiring harness is intact, so that is really good because that's another reason why we came out here. Taking a look in here, you see what's going on, typical stuff. Throttle body's missing, maybe it's in the back, I'm not sure. After about an hour, and giving a call to one of my buddies, we got a game plan. We took the knuckle completely off the strut. The ball joint is completely broken off, and the strut is broken, and I'm trying to figure out how we're going to compress this because now that the strut's broken, there's a lot of spring pressure, and I'm just not going to be able to compress that to get this together anymore. And it is a skunk spring, and you know what? I don't want to cut that because that was an option. I do have a Sawzall that I could just cut that in half, and that was something I thought of, but then my buddy Art gave me an idea, and he said that when his car was stolen, they just used some wood to hold up the struts, and look, there's some wood right there that's holding up the engine. I was able to find a local parts store that actually had this ball joint. This ball joint looks relatively easy to replace. Hopefully that will go that smooth. The guys at the local Napa had what we were looking for. We got our new ball joint right here. The ball joint is held in by a snap ring, and I didn't have a snap ring tool. I did have this, and this right here is what we use to open up the spring inside the transmissions, and it seemed to work. And I'm just going to work it off that way. Here, we got it started. Looks like it's rusted in there, and it's just not gonna... Oh, there we go. Oh, that went out too easy. Alright, so we got our $40 brand new ball joint in here. Tighten up so it doesn't back out, because I don't have a new snap ring. I don't have a new snap ring to put back in, but, well, maybe that's what this is. I don't know. It came with some ring right here. I thought it was, oh, it is. That's the snap ring right there. Okay, so it wasn't like that, but I thought it was a rubber gasket, but looks like it's what we're needing here. And what this is going to do is make sure that the ball joint doesn't pop out on me, because you got to roll this into the trailer, because I don't have a winch yet. Now that the lower ball joint is connected, I got to figure out how I'm going to keep this strut where I need it to go. So my plan is I'm going to take the upper pillow mount out, and maybe the strut will work its way through here, so at least it'll work in the confines of the strut tower. Here it rises. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of what I'm talking about, because at least it's in here, and then once I get the suspension on it, it's probably going to come up a lot more. And then what will limit it from coming up too much is that wood in there. So now I'm going to lift the engine up so I can get the wood out. Try not to damage the oil pan too much. We got the wood out, and the engine's being held up just fine. Now we got to saw this to size, because I got to fit it in there. Let's see what this does. Maybe that piece will be enough. What we're still hoping for is that the wood is tall enough to keep our strut from completely compressing. Nice. I did bring some air supply. Working good. Well, we're getting down to the wire. It's getting dark. It's getting late. We got here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I think it's 5 o'clock now. 4 hours just trying to figure this thing out. Novice, next step after that would be trying to figure out how to get it in my trailer. Oh my goodness. This was so hard. The wood worked. I put it down on the ground, and then the back tires are frozen solid. I don't know what's going on. I thought it was maybe that back tire was too tall, because the suspension is too low. It wasn't. It was actually the e-brake cables. I spent a good amount of time trying to figure that out. and then I had to push the car back from where it was over here so that I can get my trailer in front of it so that I can get a running start into there. And then I realized, well, since I'm going to be pushing this by myself, then I better take out the window, because once I get to the point where I'm getting ready to get in to the trailer, I can't push anymore, so the door is going to have to be closed. Alright, it could work. I mean, it's hard enough to move just that little bit. I think we're a little bit downhill. That might get me to at least the ramps. I don't anticipate me getting very far up here. I might have to use my ratchet straps as winches. Oh, toe so bad that it's fighting itself. Oh, I don't know if you can see it on camera. This wheel is pointing this way a little bit, and that wheel is almost straight. That helps, but I can't really move it anymore at this point. Really struggling over here. Oh man. We're just trying to get it all the way up there, man. I can't see on that side if it...
Yeah, we're good on the right side.
Look like it's going to go in on that side?
Yeah, we sure.
Okay. I'm sorry, man. Take a breather.
What happened, bro?
The wheel broke on this side. The ball joint broke and it twisted up. The wheel up.
We got another hand right now.
Oh man. You ready?
Yeah, I seen him struggling by himself.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that helps. Is it still good on that side?
Yep, good on that side.
Okay.
Hey, go. Oh no, go to the left just a little bit, bro.
Okay, I'll try.
If you can, just a little bit.
Okay. That might do it. Yeah, there we go. Oh.
Alright, you can straighten it back up now.
Okay. Just hold it there.
Alright.
Oh. Oh man. Guys, thank you so much. I don't know what I was gonna do.
No problem.
Yeah, so you got it up to here and it's like, oh.
Awesome, guys.
Yeah, most definitely.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem, man. You have a good one. Yes, sir.
Did you see that? I don't know what I was gonna do. And that's what we were counting on, you know, being that we're at least here at Walmart. There's a lot of people, and these great guys, man, they driving by, saw me struggling, and they lent a hand. That goes to show you that when someone sees you trying, that encourages them to want to just help out. There's some memes that I might have seen. Chances are more likely that you're going to get help when they see you pushing your car if it was broke down, versus just being on the side of the road with the hood up. And I'd have to agree with that. You know, when I see people really wanting something, they're just right there. It just really encourages you to want to help them. That's exactly what just happened right here. We're going to strap this down and just get home. I'm done with tonight. So I think the next section will be us taking a look at the car and just getting rid of it, stripping it down.